biggest issues plaguing modern men is that the vast majority of them lack a tribe of other virtuous, trustworthy, masculine men who gather for the sole purpose of improving themselves and their lives on a daily basis. Most men simply float through space, working a dead-end job, only to go home to a nagging wife or girlfriend that doesn't respect them. Their friend circles are nothing but fat, low testosterone losers who are more concerned with what sports teams are playing this weekend and what bar they're going to watch the game at. If these men are lucky enough to unplug from the comforting lies that modern society sells them and decide they want more out of life, they look around and realize they need to get into a better room. That's where a private community of men chasing excellence comes in. Men in our community have all committed to being the best versions of themselves that they can possibly be. They willingly run toward challenges, knowing that pushing themselves out of their comfort zones is the key to unlocking their true potential as men. If you're ready to take control of your life back and curate a network of successful and knowledgeable men, now is the time to seize the opportunity.
Greetings. What's happening? Unplugged Alpha, episode 168. We're talking victimhood and hopelessness and unlearning it. So I have in the live chat on YouTube dropped the call-in link for Q&A. If you guys have a question during the show, you can click that link and join in live. In the meantime, comment below and tell me what it is that you feel hopeless about in today's world. I've got a bunch of my own notes here that I've sort of summarized from a bunch of my own experiences and dealing with some call-ins and stuff in the past. So I want to start with you guys as the star of the show, and you let me know what it is that you felt hopeless about. I've got your standard list of items that most guys have talked about on these shows in the past, which I can get into in a minute. But let me start with this notion. There's a little man who's no longer with us. He was about 3 foot tall. His name was Sean Stevenson. I met him 12 odd years ago, I think it was, in Costa Rica at an event. And he was something like 40 years old at the time. They told him they didn't tell him, but they told his parents when he was born that it was unlikely that he was going to live past a few weeks or a month or two. He had this really rare condition where his bones were very brittle and they would break for just about any reason. Sneezing would be one of them. Anyway, he went on to exceed that prediction. He also went on to become a doctor, become quite successful, and get married to by what are all standards, attractive woman, who, as far as I know, I'm actually curious because I didn't look before the show, but as far as I know, probably is still widowed, if I'm not mistaken. Let's just have a quick look over here. We have a Sean Stevenson legacy. That's still up. Let's see here. Nope. PH. Now, one of the things that he had said was, never believe a prediction that doesn't empower you. What does that mean? It's very simple. Don't believe anything that isn't aligned with the goals that you're seeking. Does it make sense? Don't believe any prediction that doesn't empower you. Yeah, she's still single. So a lot of guys out there today love learning and surrounding themselves with hopelessness. The idea that almost like misery loves company, if we can put it that way. And that's true. Misery does love company. It piles on itself. It breeds on itself. It sort of multiplies on itself. It's like a cancer, right? And these are the kind of cancers you want to cut out of your life. you want to get rid of them as quickly as possible. What's Deborah saying here? The institution of marriage, hopeless about the loss of opportunity to raise a happy, well-adjusted children to our future. Yeah, that's something that a lot of guys are feeling hopeless about. I think any real opportunity to escape the rat race, the grind, being a cog in the wheel, achieving some level of freedom, whether that's financially or personally. The whole point of us being on this planet is to scatter seed, pass down our name and our DNA. And I think a lot of guys are clearly feeling hopeless about that idea. I had a guy the other day that messaged me way back from when we used to run the community on Facebook. Here it is over here. 2017, was it? I don't know. Yeah. 2019, sorry. Now, he just messaged me the other day, and he was breaking down something that I'm going to just describe as victimhood or the victim mindset sort of thing, almost like a learned hopelessness. He was complaining after his divorce that his ex had been taking, ex and others had been taking a photograph of him and putting it in one of these Are We Dating the Same Guy groups. We've talked about this on this cast before. You may be new to the channel. Welcome. The Are We Dating the Same Guy groups are Facebook groups on private, usually collab groups on the Meta platform for what's mostly regarded as the unchosen, if I can put it that way. And what it is it's women that aren't getting their way with the guys that they're interested in. So what they do is if they match up or they're dating somebody or they're in the earlier stages of the dating phases, they've met the guy, they'll drop a picture of him in one of these groups and they'll say, is there any tea on this guy? Are there any red flags on him? What should I know about him? Has anybody gone out with him? So it's like, basically like, what's this guy all about? Does he get around? And what's the scoop on him? And I've heard this story from, I can count them on a couple of hands now. Guys that have been put in these groups where it's like women will sort of pile on and they'll make up these stories about why you're not the best choice, and they ruin your reputation. And this particular guy here that messaged me and sent me the DM was like, I'm going to sue so-and-so, defamation of character, damages, blah, blah, blah. It's easy to pin it on them because it's a Facebook profile that they own where they're talking shit about somebody else. But for you to actually like go and spend the time and money and get a judgment to change the behavior and then to prove damages to get awarded for those damages is a very time intensive process, one. And two, just because you get a judgment doesn't mean you can do anything with it. A lot of people are judgment proof, right? Meaning you can't do anything with it. But this is just a simple example, just one example of many where frustration, annoyance, and hopelessness sets in for a guy and they go, oh, I'm screwed. I've been basically shadow banned as somebody potentially who's going to date on the sexual marketplace and entertain options or cultivate optionality because people are saying mean things about me on a Facebook group. Now, let's dissect that and unpack it. Who are these people? These people are the unchosen. They're women that aren't getting what they want in relationships. It's pretty widely accepted that they're just not getting picked. And what they do is they use their spare time to crap on others that might be in the process of getting picked, or crap on those that might be interested in others that are in the process of being chosen, as they sit on the sidelines as the unchosen, if you know what I'm saying. The whole misery loves company thing, right? And, my answer to that would be like, who cares? Who cares? Let them talk shit about you. Why would you want to go and spend time, effort, and resources on a lawyer to go and shut them up, to try to claim some sort of damages or whatever, and in the hope that you're going to get any money back, which you're unlikely to? So why does any of that matter? Like, why do you care? Like, why do you need to be hopeless about something like that? You know, is the point that I'm trying to make. And I think that guys get caught up in areas of their life that frustrate, annoy, make them feel like they're, you know, on the short end of the stick, you know, the consequence of victimhood sort of thing, right? Who cares? So what? Let the unchosen complain. If you're good looking enough, if you're valuable enough, it doesn't matter anyway, because women will choose you. I mean, look, women are afraid of spiders. Women will do what the government says. Stand on your dot, take 57 injections, right? Women will transition their own children because of a social narrative. And like, you can't convince one to love you. It's a legitimate question. You can't convince a woman, like somebody that's afraid of spiders, to love you, that can't park a car without curbing the wheel to love you because the unchosen are complaining about you. Think about that for a second. Is this really something worth getting worked up about or saying or writing long essays about? Send them random bald dude on the internet stories about stuff like this. Like, things like this just don't make sense. They don't add up to me. And there's a lot of guys out there that are exactly like this. You know, there's another category of this in content creation, you know, if I can put it that way, where it's like, here, let me see if I can find one of these. Actually, I don't even need to pull it up. I'm not going to give them any of the oxygen. But what they'll do is they'll collaborate and they'll be like, look, man, if you're not at least 6 feet tall, you're screwed. Don't even date. Or if you're not making X amount of dollars, you're screwed. Don't even date. If you're not looking like Brad Pitt, don't even date. Right? If you're not handsome like Tom Brady, don't even date. Or Tom Brady, Giselle left him. So what chances do you have? Don't even date. Right? And it's like, oh, and then these guys cook up the idea in their heads. Well, that sucks. These women suck. What am I supposed to do? Women are awful. This sucks. This is unfair. I'm a good guy. I deserve something. You don't deserve shit. If you're a man, you are not entitled to anything. I hate to break it to you guys, but if you're a man, you're entitled to absolutely nothing in life. Everything as a man is earned. And even when you earn it, you still fight to keep it as a man. Your value is very closely correlated with 3 words: do the work, and accomplishing results as well, you know, of course. But your value is very, very closely correlated with the effort that you put into your life and the output that you get from the effort that you're putting into your life. Sitting around and just going, well, Brad Pitt got divorced from Angelina Jolie, so what hopes do I have? Or look what happened to Amber Heard, you know, and Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp got screwed. If a good-looking guy like Johnny Depp had to go through all that nonsense, you know, what chance do I have? Or, oh, well, he's like 6'4". What chance do I have? Or, oh, he's got a nicer car than me. What chance do I have? The victim mindset is a loser's mindset. If you surround yourself with 5 broke, dumb, insignificant losers doing nothing with their life but complaining and whinging and whining, you will be the 6th. I see people put so much effort, men specifically. I see men put so much effort into leveling up a character in a video game. They'll go out and they'll spend the time. They'll do the raids. They'll join a clan. They'll barter on the marketplace. All of this is online again, by the way. They'll get the better armor, the better guns, the better swords, the knives, whatever it happens to be. I used to play a lot of video games. I know. And then you go and level up your character in that online world. And it's amazing to me because men compete. We like to compete. We like to do things that are difficult, that allow you to accomplish certain outcomes. The better armor in the video game, maybe a better car in real life, nicer house in real life, a better clan in the video game. And I've seen men put countless days, weeks, months, even years collectively combined into an online world that's not real when they could probably put nearly the same amount of effort into real life and get real life results. I'm not opposed to playing video games. I like sitting down every once in a while, and I'll have a veg out session every couple of weeks, and I'll just play a couple hours or something. But it's only after I've written the chapters in the book that I need to get done, after my editor sends the shit back that I have to mark up, after I've done all the content that I need to make, after I've scripted out the next thing that I got to do, after I've put the content behind the paywall in the community for the guys so they need it, after I've done the Zoom, after all of that, after I've done the leveling up in real life. There's nothing wrong with doing it on a video game. There's nothing wrong with playing the games if you've accomplished what you want out of real life. But what I don't understand is guys that will sit around and they'll play video games and they'll complain about being poor, about not having the things that they want out of life. And then they get mad at other people, really mad at other people. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why are you mad at somebody else for the shitty results that you got? If you don't have the results that you want, why is it somebody else's fault? A person's fault, women's fault, the government's fault, a politician's fault. There are certain things that you can point your finger at. Make no mistake about it. But I wouldn't let that be a burden that you carry around all day long, right? There's no question about it. I mean, as an example, Trudeau passed a piece of legislation that introduced a luxury tax on vehicles over $100,000. It's a new purchase. They throw that on top. $500,000 vehicle is going to cost you another $100,000 in taxes. That sucks. So what are your options? Well, you make another $100,000 to pay into the vehicle and pay into the tax system, or there's an exemption for used vehicles. So instead of buying it new, you wait a little while and you buy it used, right? You just don't get too caught up in about. I mean, you can get mad at the guy for a minute, but I wouldn't sit there being mad going, well, my life sucks. I can't get a fucking such and such car because of such and such a reason, and he's such an asshole and it's all his fault. There's dicks out there. That's fine. No problem. Don't let them ruin your day. Let me have a quick look at this chat over here. Again, in the comments, guys, what do you feel hopeless about? Let's deal with the notion of marriage here, for dudes. Man comes along and says, I'm a young man. I'm a man of faith. My family's always been married. I'd like to get married, but the social contracts change. I don't like the idea. What do I do? How do I have a family, Rich? It's impossible to have a family if I can't get married. Okay, let's dissect that for a minute. I have an entire chapter in my book, Unplugged Alpha. If you're new to that, you should get the book. It's on Amazon. It's a bestseller for a reason. There's a chapter describing why smart men no longer married, some of the risk factors and some solutions that are available to you. What are some solutions? Move somewhere where family law is not hostile towards men. Like if you're adamant about wanting to get married and you've met a gal that wants to get married and you both want to do the same thing, but you don't want the risk exposure, move to where family law doesn't hate men. There's one solution. Here's another solution. Family law hates men in Canada. We'll use Ontario as an example, the province that I live in. So what do? You want to have children. You want to have a family. Okay. Understand how law operates, how family law imposes itself on your life. You can love a woman. Family law doesn't stop you from doing that. Family law doesn't stop you from having children. It's just that now maybe you might have to structure your life in an unconventional way where maybe you get married in front of family, not in church, not on paper, and you don't live together, right? You have enough money to put her up in a separate residence and pay for her and your kids to be looked after. You go and visit them, but you live in separate residences. There's a number of ways that you can skin a cat, as they say. I'm pretty sure my ancestors 1,000 years ago weren't sitting around going, we're fucked. They just found a way. And I think that finding a way is ingrained in human nature and in human psychology. Let me scroll down over here to the next thing, see what we got. Somebody mentioned marriage. Told by a couple of attorneys that I can't litigate her into not being a bitch. Okay. Well, let's talk about that. Women are difficult. Okay. We're going to take Bobby's grievance, his hopelessness about being in a relationship with a woman that's difficult. A lot of what you get with crappy relationships, I think, is directly correlated to your selection process. That's why I have the 21 red flag chapter for you guys in my book. And again, you don't need to buy the book. It's below in the ticker, entrepreneursandcars.com/red-flags. You can download it for free. In the selection process, you can vet the good from the bad. You can invite the good in and repel the bad from your life. You're in a relationship with a difficult woman. She doesn't want to be led. She's continuing to be difficult. You have a decision to make. Get rid of her. Break up with her, move her out, divorce her, get rid of her. Why not? Why wouldn't you? Like, life is short. Living a better life is the best revenge. Whoever buys into their nonsense isn't worth your time anyway. This is true. If you're not surrounding yourself with those that are hopeless, that those that feel like victims, that those that want to blame everybody else for their shortcomings, then you will be living a better life. I've said this before, there's anchors and sails in life. What does an anchor do? Secures you in spot, holds you back. That's what it's designed to do. It does it very well. What does a sail do? Fills with wind, takes you on passage to your next port of call. You want to look for sails in your life, not anchors. Celebrities deal with this in tabloids. I think she's making reference to the are we dating the same guy sort of thing. The women I usually attract love spiders. Sorry, I'm just reading these comments over here. What's nightmare mode? Evening. So you're mostly talking amongst yourselves. So I'm going to leave that chat for the time being. If there's something you want to get my attention with, just super chat it so I can see it. Let me put it to you this way. I remember as a young man sitting by the bus stop. I was probably 16 or 17. I had a driver's license, but I didn't have a car. Finished high school, and the bus stop was right across the road, and I'd hop on the bus and take it to my job. And I remember seeing my favorite car at the time, which was like 88 to 90 IROC convertible, okay, Camaro. These things were not made by Chevy. They were conversions by Arizona Speed and Marine. They were beautiful looking cars, drop tops. They were just cool for me anyway. And I was mad at the time that I was sitting there on the bench at the bus stop waiting for a government vehicle to come over and pick me up and give me a ride to my job. I wasn't mad at the guy driving the car. I wasn't mad at the manufacturer that made the car. I wasn't mad at the dealership that sold the car. I was mad at myself because I didn't have the money to buy the car that I wanted. I didn't have the money to put the gas in the tank for the car that I wanted. I didn't have the money to probably pay for the insurance for the car that I wanted. The car that I wanted wasn't a Ferrari. It was a Chevy. And I think at the time, probably a $25,000, $30,000 car. Didn't have the money for it. But I was mad at myself. And I took a look in the mirror and I said, you suck. You need to do better. Work harder. Figure this out. And I didn't do it overnight. I didn't do it in a month. I didn't do it in a couple of years. I think by the time I was 20 or 21, that's when I bought the IROC. Prior to that, took a little shortcut, a little detour, and I got the motorcycle. Motorcycles are cheaper to insure, cheaper to drive. It's just, they use less gas and all that sort of stuff. And as I talked about in my book, just as much fun, probably more so in some cases. But get mad, but don't get mad at other people. Get mad at yourself. You don't have the car that you want. You don't have the house that you want. You don't have the job that you want. You don't have the friends that you want. You don't have the network or community or tribe that you want to be around. Get mad at yourself. Why is it other people's fault? Why? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like this notion of learned hopelessness. We had a guy that called in the other day on Chopping It Up. English guy that was living in Australia, 50-something years old, and making observations that are factual and true. Most women suck. Okay, we've seen the same thing. You guys, when you watch Ladies Night, you see a lot of them, the vast majority of the chicks that end up on the show. And we don't cherry pick losers. We don't cherry pick difficult women for your entertainment value or anything like that. We just randomly pick women, right? That's what Spencer's doing when he's doing his recruiting. So yeah, the vast majority of women aren't worthy of inviting into your life. The vast majority of women also don't like the vast majority of men. What do the vast majority of women like? Tall, competent, resourceful, successful, handsome, all that stuff. They have a long list of their laundry list. They like the top shelf guys. So let me think about that for a minute. Most women suck. Most women are choosing the top shelf guys. There's only a small percentage of women that probably don't suck. And even though that they don't suck like the women that do suck, you still have to do some management in that relationship, which is also probably going to suck. But that you want a relationship. You're one of those guys. You want the relationship. All guys do. Even those guys that say, I don't want a relationship with a woman, they still want a relationship with a woman. Even the guys that go, I don't need a woman because I have a sex doll. The sex doll is a perfect replication of a 10 out of 10. That thing that they buy for whatever $1,000 they pay for that fucking thing. Most guys want to be in it with women. So how do you get what you want? How do you get better women? Not being poor is a good start. Not being boring is a good start. Having some interesting hobbies, also a good start. Having a captivating life, also a good start. Being influential, also a good start. Having some grooming, right? Not being sloppy, presenting yourself nicely, wearing clothes that fit you, also a good start. Driving a nice car, also a good start. Having money to pay for the date, also a good start. Despite what feminism has told men and women, women don't want to split the bill when the bill comes. They want to be taken out on a date and shown a good time. Having some money means that you can do that. So I hear guys complain about stuff like this. Oh, women suck, this and that. The quality to choose from, or they're all fat on dating apps and covered in tattoos and da-da-da. It's like, yeah, like I said, there's a lot of women that you don't want to invite in your life over a long-term basis. They've been highly promiscuous. They've got a bad attitude. They have daddy issues. They're covered in tattoos. They got addictions. They throw hissy fits. You guys can check out my red flag chapter. Very straightforward. But if you want to sort through the wheat to get to the chaff, separate the wheat from the chaff, the story as it goes, you're going to have to dig through a lot of dirt to find the gold. And when you find it, you're not in a position to refine it, attract it, sell it, put it on the marketplace, broker it, if you're not a put together guy. Oh, but even if you are a put together guy, look what happens to Brad Pitt and Johnny Depp and Tom Brady. I have some answers for that too, but you're not going to like them. Tom Brady probably shouldn't have let Giselle roll with a Brazilian jiu-jitsu instructor. That was dumb. Hey, babe, I want to go take BJJ. Our son is at this dojo and he really likes it and the instructor's good. So I'm going to sign up with Chad Thundercock and he's going to teach me how to roll. Oh, okay, no problem. I'm playing football over here. It's a boundary that he probably should have set. What did Johnny Depp do wrong? Amber Heard's clearly batshit crazy to me. He must have seen the red flags before he moved her into his house. He must have. Right. Again, a lot of the problems, a lot of the issues that men complain about with women can be eliminated in the selection and the vetting process. And even if they get past the selection and the vetting process, and she's a genuinely decent gal, women always reserve the right to change their mind at any given time later on down the road. They may change their behavior. They may change their opinion of you. They might go batshit crazy. So don't ever live in a way that exposes you to those risks. These are all things that I've talked about many times. Yes, I know you're going to have to go through 167 podcast episodes to get them all. Yes, I know it's in my book. Yes, maybe you're new to the channel. You don't know all these things yet. I don't know. You can start with the book. The book's a very good starting place for you guys. Let me put the media asset up because I forgot to at the start of the show. There's the overlays. Okay, get the damn book. Another potential problem that I hear from guys, and I'm going to offer you some real solutions in this video, guys. I'm not going to waste your fucking time. By the end of the hour, I'm going to give you some good shit. You also have these guys that are like, just geolocate, bro. Just passport it, bro. You got to go to Colombia, bro. You got to go to Philippines and Thailand, bro. And women are women all over the world. Their nature is driven by the underlying need to be with the most valuable guy that they can get. That's what hypergamy is. Doesn't matter if you go to Colombia or you go to Thailand. Doesn't matter if you go to Eastern Europe. Most guys get destroyed in Eastern Europe because Eastern European women are tough, but they're also fucking very hot too. You can't show up there. See, there's an old saying, the water is always greener where you fertilize and water it. And if you're standing on a patch of grass and there's a fence over there and you see another patch of grass on the other side of the fence, hopping the fence onto that other patch of grass is rarely going to solve any of your problems. That's what geolocation, that's what passport bros think. Sure, maybe you're going to come off as a little bit taller in Asia. Sure, maybe your money's going to go a little bit farther in Colombia. But if you're a dork here, you're a dork over there. If you're standing on a patch of grass that's dead, it's got weeds everywhere, hasn't been watered, you don't cut it, you don't fertilize it, you haven't done the proverbial quote unquote work, the patch of grass on the other side of the fence, you're going to do the exact same thing over there and you get the same bullshit results. You shouldn't be geolocating as a passport bro if you haven't squared away your head, if you don't understand what women respond to, if you don't understand the selection process of bringing women into your life, if you don't know how to make money in a location independent fashion. I remember there was a lot of guys during the scamdemic that would call in or DM me or message me and they'd be like, Rich, I don't really think I need this thing. I'm a healthy guy, but my wife's insisting that I do it, and or my boss is insisting that I do it, and I'm going to lose my job. And I got a mortgage to pay, and I have a family to feed, and I don't know what to do. I'm hopeless. What do I do? And most of these guys, they had to bend the knee. They went and they took what's proven to be unsafe and ineffective jab. And many people are dealing with the consequences of that, right? Because you don't have a plan. You're not able to navigate and figure out ways to do it. I can't travel. I got to get this jab to travel. I have to go take 3 of them for me to get the piece of paper to travel. Proof of vaccination and vaccination are not the same thing. You can have one without the other. They can be independent. Another one that I've got here is those guys that are all like, oh, we're just stuck in a dead end job here. Like, this is never going to go anywhere for me. Why did you choose a job that doesn't pay you much? I don't have a genius IQ. I'm not an Einstein here. But I'm smart enough to know that certain jobs don't pay a lot of money and aren't good for me. In high school, again, I remember signing up for this co-op course, and being the petrol head that I am, that was very interested in cars, I decided at 15 to take a co-op placement at a mechanic shop, which again, I had to take the bus to get to. It was a 15, 20-minute bus ride. Pat was the guy's name that owned the place. Never forget this guy. So I got the job there. They didn't pay me anything. The high school placed me there. The owner of the shop benefited from me being there and then teaching me certain tasks. And I would do things like swap out batteries, change spark plugs, replace air filters, and do brake jobs. Now, I didn't know this from the get-go, but I remember getting a lot of brake jobs. Once I figured out how to do brake jobs, once they taught me how to do brake jobs, and in those days, it was usually front disc brakes and then rear drum brakes. That's just how they did them. And I didn't know why I was getting all the brake jobs. A few weeks go by, and I remember, you'd have to hammer the drums on the back, and a big cloud of dust would come off it when you could loosen the drum and pull it off. And it turned out that big cloud of black dust was asbestos, because they still put asbestos in the brake pads. And I thought to myself, even at 15, I had enough sense about me. Like, I saw how the other mechanics in the shop lived their lives, what kind of cars they drove, what kind of relationships they had with their girlfriend or their wives, and what their health was like. And none of it was anything that I wanted a part of. I wouldn't have traded my life for the relationship that they had with their woman. I wouldn't have traded my health for the health that they had, working in a shop, breathing in asbestos from brake pads. I don't know if they make them with that anymore, but that's what they did at the time. And I did it for a couple months, and I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm shortening my life. This is a waste of my time, and I'm never going to make the money that I want to drive the car that I want, to live the life that I want. I need to find something else. So it's beyond me why anybody has a right to complain about the money that they make if they're not doing anything to change it, or if they've chosen that path and they're in it. You don't have any right to complain about the numbers in your bank account as they look at you. If you selected the task or the job, too much ice, that got you that shitty pay. I've said this many times on my channel. There's 6 paths to wealth: C-suite jobs, CEO, CFO, CTO. You're a C-suite officer in a company. There's not a lot of those. You have to put in a lot of time to get that and climb the corporate ladder. Number 2, the next one, some kind of a licensed professional, doctor, lawyer, accountant. You went to school for a number of years. You got a professional designation. You're licensed by a governing body. You go and practice that art form, and you go and make some fat stacks of cash. I got a buddy of mine who's an ER doctor in the States, makes $700,000-$800,000 a year. He does quite well. Another one, number 3, some kind of an influencer, an actor, a musician, an athlete, an influencer, a YouTuber, whatever it happens to be that commands a large audience. Commanding an audience gives you the authority to get paid well for the attention of those people. Then you also have the promo deals and the brand deals and the sponsorships. Michael Jordan made way more money on sponsorships than he did ever playing basketball. What's the next one? High-end sales, expensive real estate, cars, exotic cars, yachts, boats, jet planes. You're going to get paid a percentage of what it is that you sell. STEM, science, technology, engineering, maths. I've had a lot of conversations with FANG company guys. That's Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, those companies down in Silicon Valley that have offices throughout the world. Some of these tech leads are making $800,000-$900,000 a year because they got in the right space. They put themselves in the right rooms. And then my personal favorite, the last one, the 6th one, is entrepreneur. All of my closest friends are entrepreneurs. Everybody that I was on the rally with last week, that Laurentian rally that we went up, I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram, but that rally that we went on, every guy was an entrepreneur. Mostly Italian guys. Construction, forming, basement pouring, concrete, lumber, car sales, I mean, I can go on and on, but just about all of these guys are entrepreneurs. They're all self-employed. So why are you complaining about being broke if you're doing nothing about it? Retrain yourself, update your skills, start a side hustle. We can talk about entrepreneurship in a minute if you want. I'll get to that shortly. So we got poor stuck in job. There's a notion, before I get to some of these solutions, there's a notion of enjoying the decline. Yes, marriage is on the decline. Yes, birth rates are on the decline. Yes, taxes are going up. Yes, inflation is going up. Yes, the value of the $20 bill that's sitting in your wallet is going down. Yes, the value of gold is going up. There's all these mechanisms pulling on everything, in the world. Yes, wokeness is going up. Let's do a little experiment because it's Pride Month, right? I'm going to have a quick look here on Twitter and see how many of these companies, let's start with Canadian companies, Air Canada. Oh yeah, they got the pride flag up already, eh? Here, I'll share it up on the screen. Let's just do this together for a quick minute because we're talking about wokeness. It's a big complaint that a lot of people have, right? Air Canada, they got the flag up there. Let's try WestJet. Yep, I got the flag up there. The wokeness thing is still going on. Let's try Southwest. They have a big Hardy flag. I don't know what that is. What about Starbucks? That's a big... Oh, Starbucks Canada did nothing with their logo this month. That's interesting. Maybe the world is, in fact, healing. Tim Hortons. Nothing with theirs. Okay, maybe the world is healing. We will see as time passes on. But yeah, wokeness has been on the rise for years. Maybe the pendulum is swinging the other way. There's a lot of things that aren't going your way. I get it. The decline is real. Your buying power goes down, everything costs more, and inflation ruins things, and you're generally not getting paid more for what it is that you're putting effort into, right? What do you do about all that? Well, one solution is enjoying the decline. How do you enjoy it? You identify what you can control from what you can't control. What can't I control? I can't control what happens with the sun and the weather. I can't control whether it's going to be sunny or cloudy today. If it's sunny, I put on some sunscreen when I go outside for my daily bike ride or my walk, right? If it's raining, I grab an umbrella or put on a rain jacket. You adapt to the situation. You want to live in a nicer house, in a better neighborhood, in a safer neighborhood. Put your kids in a better school. You need to make more money. Well, have you figured that out? You want to attract a woman in your life because you realize that you want to have kids. Have you figured that out? Do you know what women respond to? Do you know how to select a good woman from a bad woman? The decline is real, and you can still enjoy it. I mean, to the problem of, the birth rate's in the basement. We have to fix that. Or we have to bring Christianity back or something like that. Or Islam isn't compatible in the West. You hear all these sound bites. Israel is the real problem. You hear all these sound bites, when you log into social media. If you don't know how to sit with it and ignore the stuff that doesn't matter, maybe you should probably not be on social media. Just turn it off, delete it, not bother with it, just erase it, right? Because, the decline is real. It's not your job to repopulate the earth. Elon Musk is trying to do that, but he's a billionaire. He can afford to do it. He can put babies in all kinds of women all day long, and it doesn't even put a dent in his net worth. But what's your plan to enjoy the decline? Complain about it? Whinge and whine about it? Blame other people for it? Blame me for it? It's my fault? I don't understand. That's the funny thing that makes me laugh is the guys that go, you don't understand. Oh, I need to understand you? Like I need to give a fuck about your victim mindset? You don't understand. Rich says that you got to be a millionaire by the time you're 30, or if not by the time you're 40, the latest. He doesn't understand. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. No. I was born broke. My parents were broke. It was so cold in my house in the wintertime that I had a fucking sheepskin rug thrown on my bed to keep me warm that my grandmother donated to us. I didn't come with a silver spoon in my mouth, dumbass. I did the work. I identified the problem and I did the work. You can go back 10 years on my Entrepreneurs and Cars channel and you can actually see me work through my shit, dealing with what is it that women respond positively to? I think that was probably the best way to describe it, probably the real question. What is it that women respond positively to and how to retain them? Traction wasn't an issue. It was, what do they actually respond positively to? Because the stuff that I've been told doesn't work. And you see me kind of work through that. I go out and read some studies, a bunch of Evo Psych books, interview some people, talk to others. Fuck, all of a sudden, 10,000 hours later, I'm an expert on this subject. Wouldn't you know? I put the time into it. I figured it out. I know how to enjoy the decline now. Taxes are going up. Inflation's going up. Women are less valuable. They're more difficult. They suck more, blah, blah, blah. No problem. My life hasn't gotten any worse. It's gotten better because I know how to navigate the decline. I know how to deal with all this sort of stuff. Complaining about it doesn't make any sense to me. Asking people to understand you as a man doesn't make any sense to me. Nobody cares about men. Nobody. That's why most homeless people are men. You have to go out there and do the work for yourself. You want the money, you want the women, you want the community, you want to do fun and cool stuff. Do the work. That's what I did. Before I go, because maybe you've missed out on it, I have a school community which is $49 a month. You can find it by going to my website at entrepreneursandcars.com/community. There's other communities above that. One that teaches you entrepreneurship. There's another community above that that brings you out with other like-minded guys that you can network with and travel with and do cool shit with. There's a few tiers beyond that as well. But the starting point for most of you guys out there is to get into the school of unplugging. It's $49 a month. It's so low priced, it should almost be criminal. I'm not even kidding. Like the content that I put in there that is, when I talk about how do you vet for wife stock, no problem. I got a course on that in there. How to improve my physicality and my health, no problem. I got a course on that in there. How do I invest? What's crypto all about? No problem. We have a course and we also have instructors on that in there. How do I use LinkedIn and improve my resume? No problem. We have an instructor in there that does Zoom calls on that. Rich, I got a problem that I want to talk to you about. Can we hop on a call privately? Yeah, I'm $3,000 an hour privately. Or no problem, hop in the Zoom call. I'm on every Wednesday at 7 a.m. for 90 minutes. Ask me anything you want. Had like 25 guys in there this morning we were shooting the shit with. I don't know how to get my diet squared away and my nutrition right. No problem. It's all in there. And it's well laid out and it's organized. And the fact that you guys get in there and then level up and then move into the next tiers and go into the school of entrepreneurship and learn entrepreneurship, the early stages are learning about wealth creation, setting the groundwork and the foundation, and then getting you up to the next level. You've learned the basics. You understand what women respond to. You want to learn how to make life-changing money. You want to learn something like entrepreneurship. No problem. Join the school of entrepreneurship. You level up into the next level. You ladder up. Or don't. Complain. Blame other people. Be a victim. Play your video game and level up the character and do nothing. Simple as that. Have an awesome day. Peace. All right, guys. If you enjoyed that podcast, make sure you visit my website at richcooper.ca to learn more about my courses, my book, The Unplugged Alpha, community, or booking me for private coaching. Also, if you are a Canadian with $15,000 or more of credit card debt and what you are doing right now isn't paying off the balances, then visit totaldebtfreedom.ca and hit get a free quote to see if you qualify to settle your credit card debt for less than you owe today over the next 48 months. Make sure you check out the top pinned comment on YouTube for all the links mentioned during the show. Peace.